Hey, hi, welcome guys. Welcome back to our channel, which is Fibron. And in previous session, we had discussed about one of the famous EDA techniques, outlier detections. Now, today we are going to incorporate a lot of EDA techniques before going to, because EDA techniques is one thing which is very, very important before going to apply any kind of machine learning algorithm. Either it is a regression problem or classification problem, we supposed to do some kind of EDA techniques on the top of that, then only you can apply your machine learning algorithm, right? So without EDA, if you are going to apply machine learning algorithm, you might not get a good accuracy or better accuracy, you can say. And so that we incorporate this video before going to learn another machine learning algorithm. So yes, so in order to apply the EDA techniques, I just going to elaborate one of the famous problem statement, which everyone knows about that, this situation. Everyone knows about the Titanic ship, as many of the people have seen Titanic movie also, and how it is reached it. It's a tragic, and on the night of 15th April 1912, a ship was termed as a unsinkable or one struck disaster by colliding with an iceberg, and after few hours it was at the bottom of the ocean, right? Only 1517 passengers were able to survive with that ship with the help of the lifeboats, but it could not accommodable all the passenger, therefore it lead a huge loss of the life, right? So basically I am just going to discuss about the Titanic problem only. So how it is going to, how it is going to deal, that the thing I am going to discuss in this video. So hope you understood this problem statement. Now how we are going to incorporate, how we are going to do all those things, means what are the EDA we are going to apply on the top of this. So first let's import the data set, which every time we used to do. Just before going to import, we have to import the packages which is useful to import the data set. So NumPy and Pandas. Once you imported the NumPy and Pandas, then next is what? Once you imported the NumPy and Pandas, then you have to import the data set. Like one is training. Right now we are importing only training data set. Testing data set we are not going to import as well. So just import the training data set and test data set also. So just imported that, and let's see how the data set is look like, right? Train. And let me show you. See, you can see here there, this is the passenger ID, this is the survived column. What is saying? 0 means he or she got died, and 1 means he got survived. P class means class, it is basically it's a class only, means which class that member is belonging. Means some, if you are going with the flight, there is a business class, there is a common class, like this commercial class, everything is there like this. In the ship also, if you are going with the big ships, there is so many different kind of classes are available. Name, that person name. With this passenger ID, what is their name? Sex, if she is male, he is female, or whatever it is. Age of that. Ship means how many members with them, means they are single, or with them any other members also was there. Then P arc. Okay, P arc basically nothing else, it's a kind of means if you are going with the flight or train, so what berth they are going to provide, lower, upper, middle, this is a kind of thing. And then ticket number, and this fare price, means what is the fare of that. Then cabin, and which cabin it is. Embarked means again there is a different levels are available in case of ship. If you can go to the ship, this is the bottom section, middle section, and upper section, right? So this is the same thing as C. These are different labels are there, right? So hope you understood the data set. Now we are going to apply our EDA techniques on this data set. So before going to apply the EDA techniques, what the things we are going to see, we have to, first thing is what we have to analyze our survive, means how many, means how the people got survived, and what are the people got survived, how many peoples got survived, and how whoever survived this from this Titanic tragedy, means what the things happened with that people so that they survived, or what the things not happen with those people who not survived, right? We have to analyze these things, right? So first thing, what we can do basically, just what we can do, we can do one thing. Just let's see key, let's suppose first we'll see how many survive, how many people got survived there, or how many people not survived there. So before going to do all those things, let me import the packages first. Let me import the packages, then it will be helpful for me also. So yes, just a minute. So what we can do, we just import our survive wala, and if you can see this survived, so these are the data set we having, how many people has survived and what are these things. And if you want to check the graphical representation of this survive, so what you can do, I'm doing one thing. So I'm doing one thing, I just let's use the Sevan package, and you will get one error because SNS is not available. So you have to import the Sevan package. So how we can import the Sevan? Import Sevan as SNS, right? As SNS, right? Now it's done. It's pretty good. Let me execute this now. Name error still it is saying okay, because here is df train, but we kept it. Now if you can see, number of people who not survive is more than number of people who had survived. You can see with this graphical, but with this data we are not able to get the conclusion how many people got survived and how many people are not survived there, right? So that's what this is. This means graphical representation or visualization is impacting to perform the EDA techniques, I could say. So yes, before going to do all those things, I will import all those packages first, so it will be helpful for me to apply the coding, right? So I just imported all those things. Yeah, I just imported, and now if I'm going to run this, yes, I could see all those things. Now this is the survivance, means these are the peoples, means more than 500 people got survived, and I guess around 300 people had not survived. If you can see this graph, more than 500 people not survived, and means around 300 people only got survived. Okay, so if you want to see how many you could ask one question, how many peoples are available in that ship? So that is, again, you can, I already told you 1500 something people was there in that ship. So it might be different, no worries. So no need to worry about that. Okay, now what we can do, we are going to check means how many survived and how many not survived. So this is the techniques you can use. Train survived, here I am checking train survived, and value count. Value count is the method which will give you, this is the total, means total not survived is 549 and total survived is 342. Okay, so these are the complete thing. And now if you want to check the percentage, how many people has survived percentage and non-survived. How we are calculating the survive percentage and non-survive percentage? Just like this, train survive dot value count 0 means this one 549. Okay, 549 divided by len of complete data frame, and we are going to put as a format. And similarly we can do for the survived also, right? So yes, here also we have to change the name of the data set. And if you are going to execute this, now you can see not survived is 61%, survived how many? 38%, right? Hope you understood this, how many people got survived and how many people are not survived. Now my question is simple question. My question is, number of not survived is more than number of survived, right? So what is the null accuracy? Null accuracy is what? Basically, what if you are going to incorporate the null accuracy here, you can. So if I would like to highlight the null accuracy, let's suppose, let me null accuracy. What is the null accuracy here? So null accuracy is nothing but whatever your percentage of data set, it's a kind of bias, right? Means 61% is not survived, means I can say means anyone will randomly ask this passenger is 711 is got survived or not. So randomly I can say he not survive, because not survivance percentage is more than survivance percentage. So null accuracy, what is the null accuracy here? It is saying null accuracy is saying like nobody will survive in the major class. Nobody has been survived in the major class, right? So this is the our null accuracy, right? Hope you understood the null accuracy. How we are going to calculate the null accuracy, that I already told you. Baseline accuracy means not survive percentage is more than the survivance percentage. So I can come into the conclusion nobody will survive in the majority class, right? So yes, this is all about the null accuracy, accuracy. Now if you want to check the means in case of survive, how many people are survived who was male and how many people survived who was female. So just a SNS dot fact plot x. In x column we are going to keep survive, and in y column we are going to keep sex, and now we are going to count the male. Now if you can see, number of 0 means female and 1 means male. Sorry, 0 means survived and 1 means not survived. So you can see in case of survivance, male number of male was having the big number, right? But non-survivance, if you can see, 1 means non-survived, right? In case of non-survived, male was very less, means whoever male, means approximately I can say what is the null accuracy will be here, means if it is a male candidate, then I can say he might get survived, because you can see in this graph, I'll try to highlight this. Okay, with this graph what we are getting, number of male are very high who got survived. Sorry, I made a mistake, right? My apology. So 0 means not survived and 1 means survived. No worries. So you can see with this graph, so whoever male is there, they not survived. And you can see, because with this graph it is indicating purely ki whoever male is there, number of male survivance is less than number of female. But in case of female, you can see ki whoever survived here, 1 means survived. So female number, if she is female, then probably she might be survived, but I'm not sure about that. But with this graph I am coming to the null accuracy. If any people is randomly coming to ask ki this passenger ID is 711 and whether he or she got survived or not, again you will ask one question, whether she is male or female. If it is female, then I can say 80 or 90% chance is there she might be survived, right? Because with this graph it is saying. But if he will tell ki no, he is a male, then I have to think about that, because null accuracy is saying whoever survived in that female numbers are very high, right? Hope you understood this concept, right? So yeah, next what we can do, next things, we understood this concept, right? How many male is got survived, how many female got survived, right? Next what we can do, we can see how many females got survived, how many male got survived, right? So in this way we can do like this. You can see, so if you can see, so female number is how many females got survived, 233. Male, how many male got survived, 109. Yes, with this graph also is indicating same thing. You see, male survivance, number of survived male is less than the female, right? So with this count also it is saying the same thing. So yes, graphical representation is very, very important. Okay, now if you want to check the percentage, again, percentage wise, if you want to check the percentage, you can happily check the sex percentage, male percentage and female percentage. How we can do, train data frame and sex, here we can keep female survive count and percentage. 1 minute, let me check this. Is there anywhere something? Yes, no. Okay, so female survivance rate, male survivance rate, we can do here group by survive. If you are going to check, you can see female survived rate is 74%, means 74% chances is there female will get survived, and 18% chances are there only male survivance percentage, right? Hope you understood this also, right? Next is what we can do. Next, we understood up to this, no doubt at all, we understood these things. Now what we can do, we are going to identify our outliers. Okay, so basically if you can see the train data set, how it is look like. Okay, so if you can see train data set is look like this, and now in this column, each column having some outlier, right? So what are those columns we have to identify, and what are the index value which having the outliers, and what is outlier I already discussed in my last video, Shahrukh Khan wala story. Just go through the Shahrukh Khan wala story, you will get to know what is outlier. So similarly here also we have to identify what are the outliers here, right? So in order to identify the outlier, what I am going to do, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to create one custom method which will work for any kind of outlier detection. Means if you are dealing with any data set, that time this outlier detection method will very helpful for you, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one method, detect outlier. In that outlier I'll pass three things. One is data frame, numbers, and features. What are the features you want to identify that it having the outliers, right? So next I'm going to create one list. I'm going to create one list with the outlier indices. So what the list will do, in this list, empty list, in this list I am going to capture all those indices value which having the outlier. Once it is done, I'm going to run a for loop. In this for loop, how we are going to deal with the for loop, basically in this for loop, what the things will there. So whatever column you are going to pass, column in that features. Okay, so in this method argument, if you can see this method argument, we are passing the features, right? We are passing the features. Let's suppose in this feature I'm passing age, survived, or something like ticket or some fare, right? I'm passing three things. So one by one we will do. Okay, so first age, first let's suppose age will come. So how we are going to identify the outlier, right? So if you might remember the whisker and plot wala things, then you could understood what is the, how we are going to identify the outlier. Manually we did, right? In the last session only we did. Okay, if you are not remember that, then I can probably show these things. Yeah, you can see my screen, you can see how we are detecting the outlier. So any data is coming out of this range, q1 minus 1.5 into IQR, or q3 plus 1.5 into IQR, that data point will be considered as a outlier, right? Okay, cool. So same thing we are going to incorporate with the data. So what I'm doing here, data frame we pass, and data frame column will come. Suppose age will come. So age comma 25. So whatever things are percentile, np dot percentile, which is data coming under the 25 percentile, that will consider as a q1. q3 means np dot percentile, again in that column whatever data point is coming 25 to 75%, means our range is what? Our range to you know, identify the outlier is this one, right? 25 to 75. If you can see my diagram, if you can see my box and whisker plot wala diagram, you can see up to this is my q1, this is my q3, right? And this is my whiskers. So anything will come out of this, that will treat as an outlier, right? That will treat as an outlier. So this data will come under 25 to 75%. So I am taking 25% and 75% here, and that will come under the q1 and q3, right? Hope you understood. So we got the you know, these things, we got our boundary line, basically, you can say we got our boundary line. Now we are going to calculate the IQR. What is the IQR? Basically q3 minus q1, nothing else, q3 minus q1. So how we are going to deal with the IQR? So q3 minus q1, we can do IQR, interquartile range, we got it, right? Next next, outlier setup, outlier steps. What is the outlier steps? I already told you, 1.5 into IQR means so let's suppose if you are going to identify lower you can say whisker, means if I'm going to draw this diagram again here. So this is my whisker, this is my hair whisker. So what is this value? q1 minus 1.5 into IQR, right? Into IQR. So how we are going to calculate this value, lower quantile, and this is my upper quantile, how we are going to identify? So again, q1 which you already having, minus 1.5 into iqr, which is nothing but iqr steps. Okay, so what I'm going to do basically here, I'm going to write one parameters here. I'm going to write outlier step. Okay, so outlier steps is equal to 1.5. Now if you can see, if this outlier step, if I am subtract with the q1, then I will get this point, I'll get this point, this line. So same thing we are going to do, we are going to deal with this also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write one condition. If any value will be more than this, then that value should be treated as a outlier, and that outlier value I'm capturing that index value, right? Hope you understood. Right, now next thing is what, next similarly similarly I would like to capture, I would like to add in that, we had created one, I can say there is a one list, right? There is a one list, outlier indices. So once your outlier has been identified, I have to add that outlier in this list, right? So outlier indices dot extend and that outlier column. Once it is done, column has done, next what you can do, outlier, this thing has done. Now outlier indices is equal to counter. I have to calculate the, counter value also we have to increase here. So what we can do, we are going to increase at the counter. What is the counter method is doing? It will count, means how many outlier is there in that particular column, basically nothing else. So yes, then what we can do, we are going to arrange the data set in the form of the key value pair. So it will return that value. So here I'm doing that same thing. Now see what we did, what we did for key and value in the outlier indices dot item. If value is greater than n, and what is n, we are passing some value, right? If it is more than that, then that key and value will be detected here, and that will stored inside of multiple outlier, and that will return. Let me run this. So this method has been defined. Now this method will use to identify any outlier, means if you are going to deal in future any kind of data set, in that it will helpful to to identify the outliers, right? So next, once it is done, what you can do basically, once it is done, so I want to check the outliers, right? I want to check the outlier for what? I want to check the outlier for these are the columns, means age, CBSP, PR, fair, right? So I want to check these things. I want to check. Now let me run this code. Okay, it is giving error. No worries. Acha, counter is not defined. Sorry, counter is not defined. So we can define the counter also. So let me, so it is under the collection. Basically, I have to import that package first. So from collection import counter, right? Is it? Okay. So this basically I should import before this method calling, because we are using here, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to import here, and it got imported now. And let's execute this code again, and yeah, I am able to identify the outlier. If you want to see outlier drop, you can see these are the indices, 27 number indices, 88 number indices, having some outliers, right? Having some outlier, no doubt, everything is fine, well and good. Now if you want to see what are the rows having the outlier and what are the values, that is, so you can call the log function and you can pass this indices value. And if you can see, these are the data set which having the outliers. And if you want to check the shape of that, how many rows and columns are there, so you can happily check like this, 10 rows and 12 columns, means total 10 rows having some outlier, right? Okay, cool. So no doubt up to this though we are well and good. Now the thing is that we identify the outlier, and this again guys, this method is very helpful to identify the outlier for any kind of problem statement. So you can keep this as a good note to identify the outlier, right? Once you define the outlier, so what I'm going to do what I'm going to do, I am my task is that whether I should drop the outlier or I should consider the outlier. So probably in this problem statement what we are dealing, in this case we should drop the outlier. So I'm dropping the outlier, train dot drop outlier to drop that indices, and axis 0 means row wise we are going to drop. Now if you want to see, if you can see, we don't have the outlier right away. If you will run if you are going to execute this code again, you will get an error because we don't have that indices right now. We already removed that. Now there is no outlier. If you again run this code again, if you are going to run this code, you can see we might not get anything because we already removed our outliers. Right now my data is pure. Now my data is pure. We remove the outliers, everything we removed. Now we have to check the null value. Is there any null value present or not? So how we are going to check the null value? Is there any null value? Train dot is na or is null, anything will work here. Null dot sum. If you are going to run this code, you can see age having null value, age column having some null value, and Kevin having some null value, right? So good practice as a beginner, you should drop all those null value, all the null value you can drop, but sometimes you have to deal with the null value also, as 170 numbers is very good number to uh, to remove. So we cannot directly blindly remove these many data set. We should think about that, how to work with that, right? So basically what we can do so we did right. Now what we can do, there is a some of the columns are there, some of the columns having null value, but in that they did not mention anything. So what we can do, wherever null value is there, I'm just keeping the null value as a nan value, nan. So okay, df is not defined, sorry, let me train this. Okay, so done. Now it's done, it's fine, well and good. Now next is what we are going to check, some of the techniques what we can do. Basically we are going to use the info method. How it is going to help you? Info method will give all the information, means what is the data type it is, each column what is the data type, it's integer type. Survive is what? Integer type. P class is what? Integer type. Name is what? Integer sorry, object, sorry my bad. Sex is what? Object. Age is what? Float, means 22.5, 22 years, it's a float kind of thing. All those things we will get. And also we will get something, is there any null value present or not? If there any null value, that will also come, means it will show you 81 null, not non-null, means whatever data set we have. What is the data set we have? Let's see, train.set. If you can see, if you are going to 881 data set we have, right? So in this passenger ID, we don't have any null value. You can see we have 881 data points, and out of that 881 not non-null, means everything is filled. Survive also, but in case of age, only 711 out of 881 having not null, non-null value, means out of that remaining having some null value. So we have to deal with that, right? Hope you understood this info method, how it is going to work. Now now very interesting thing we are going to deal, feature analysis. What is the feature analysis? Basically, so feature analysis is nothing but, see, in this data set we having total, I guess, 12 number of data columns, right? 12 columns is there. Out of 12, one is our target column, means out of, if I am going to remove this survive wala column, then probably we having the 11 columns, but I don't know which column is is making impact to analyze our survivance, right? Whether that people will survive or not. So in order to deal this kind of problem, we are going to learn heat map. How it is going to help you? How it is going to help you? Let's see. So I'm just going to give the tag here, feature analysis here, feature analysis. So feature analysis, and now what we can do, we are going to draw a heat map. I'm going to draw a heat map for between this survived CSP, P-arc, and age fair P class. And now I'm going to let me run this. And how it is going, let's understand this feature heat map first, because it is very important to analyze the feature. It's a part of the feature engineering basically. So what we are going to do, see, if you can see, this is the P class, this is the survive, this is the CSP, P-arc, age, same column. Means if you can see, the relationship between the survive and survive is one, means positive, means there is a positive relationship. But if you can see this line, what is it is indicating, this line basically. So if it is a dark in color, means there is a very negative relationship. How it is going to become a lighter in color, the relationship is getting less, right? If it is a completely white, then this having their extremely high relationship basically, I could say, right? Hope you understood. Now if I'm going to deal, see red color 0.5, right? 0.5. So this color 0.38, right? 0.3. Okay, I'll make it a different color so it will be helpful for you also. So if you can see this line, this thing, P arc having the 0.38 positive relationship with the SP. So I can say, see, P arc and CSP, we can consider both the column having the same, means as the same column, because see, I can say one thing I would like to highlight here. See, this is the X, this is the Y. How the age is going to increase my weight, this is nothing but this is your weight, this is your age basically. So how the age is going to increase, weight is also going to increase. Suppose your age is 2 years, your weight is 3 kg. Your age is 4 years, your weight is 7 kg. Your age is 10 years, your weight become 12 kg or something. So you can say, means age having the positive relationship with the weight, means with the increase of age, my weight is also going to be increased. So what I can say, either I can consider weight or age, both will work same, because see, if we are increasing the age, weight is also increasing. So basically what you can see here in this diagram, you can see, so which having the darker value, having the some negative relationship, highly negative relationship. How the light color is getting fed. So you can see my correlation between the features is getting ready increase. So sometimes this is the, you can see 0 means having no relationship, one having positive, highly positive relationship. So whom become having the point highly positive, survive with the survive, CSP having the this, and P arc to P arc having one relationship. This means relationship means the relationship with that value, with that feature, with the same feature will be always be one, right? So our task is that how to identify positive wala. So you can see P arc having some positive relationship, right? Hope you understood these things, right? So similarly you can see here also, if you can see age with P class, age with the P class, you can see having some negative relationship. So negative relationship we have to incorporate, in this case P class and age we have to incorporate. So you have to think about this graph. Okay, so with this graph I can say P arc and CSP, P arc or CSP having positive relationship. So either we can consider P arc or CSP, both will be same, and this will be okay, this will be okay for this also. See, if you are able to understand, so age having the negative relationship with the P class, right? Age having the negative relationship with the P class. And is there any relationship P class with the others positive relationship? No, we don't have any positive relationship, right? So the heat map is going to help in this way. So which having the positive relationship, which having the negative relationship, or which having the no relationship. So which having the positive relationship, that point we can skip anyway, we can skip it up, right? So yes, this is all about the, you can say means a heat map, right? Now next is what? Next is what? I'm going to check CVSP with the survive. Okay, CVSP with the survive with the help of the factor plot. Okay, how it is going to draw on the factor plot, that we are going to deal. So what we did, SNS dot factor C wants factor plot CVSP y is survive, and data is train, kind is bar plot. And now I'm going to see, if you can see the diagram, you can see CVSP category having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 0 category CVSP, which don't having any person with them, so they survive rate is 0.4, 0.3 to 0.4, right? And which having CVSP is one member there, they survive around more than 5.5. And similarly point means having the CVSP is 2, they survive less than that. So with this kind of analysis you can do EDA techniques. It is known as it is coming under the EDA basically. So you can do like this. Similarly, if you want to if you want to check with the PR class, because PR having the positive relationship, you can see CVSP and PR having the positive relationship. So if I'm going to draw the same thing, if you can see with this heat map, PR and CVSP having the positive relationship, you can see here having the positive relationship, right? So if you can see this bar graph, sorry, heat map, so CVSP and PR having the positive relationship, and this graph, so with this graph you can see CVSP having we did a count plot and the box plot, and we make it like this key, how it is going to survive. Now similarly we can do for the PR also. So if it is a positive relationship, then always it should display the same thing. See, PR 0 having the less survive rate. See, similarly 0 having the less survived here also. Similarly, you can correlate this graph with that graph, above graph. So having some relationship with the PR with the CVSP. So I can drop the PR, but yes, in the very first go, you should not drop any of the feature, because each and every feature is important for us. Each and every features is going to make a sense, make importance to build a machine learning algorithm. So you should not drop any single of the features, right? So okay, anyways, we will see whenever we are going to apply the machine learning algorithm, we are going to deal. Just I'm going to I'm exploring the things, how to deal with the EDA techniques. What are the EDA techniques you can do? Similarly, I'm going to deal with the age column also. I'm going to do some EDA on the age column. So age is kind of float value, right? So float, if it is a float value, it's not a categorical in nature, then you should always use the kind of you can say normalization of the data, and things are there. So what is the normalization of the data, that we already discussed? And if you can see with this graph, it's a bell-shaped curve, right? It's a bell-shaped curve. How we drawn the bell-shaped curve, that we already know with the in our normal stats class, right? So if you can see this graph, this graph is properly bell shaped, no doubt. Some of the skewness are there, that let it to be, but in case of survived dataset, we having some outlier in this age also, that we already knows, right? So this having also some skewness, so what we can do, basically we can normalize the data, one thing, or we should remove the skewness first. Okay, so two things you can do, and anyway whatever things will work, you can do it up, right? Similarly, if you want to check in case of fair, so if you are going to check for the fair, so you can see, okay, I made a mistake here, DF, right? Where is DF? Okay, it should be train. Okay, again train. Okay, here also. Okay, so now if you can see here also some skewness are there. You can see there is also some skewness in case of fair, right? So like this, you can do some exploratory data analysis on the float kind of data set. So you can see what is getting, since the fair is highly skewed, it will lead to overwrite the very high value, right? So what I'm going to do, means skewness we can remove either using the jet transform or log transform, anything will work. But right now I am using the log transformation. Okay, so basically we are going to apply the log transformation here. Now here also we going to check the train. we are mapping the lambda np dot log x, x is greater than 0, then otherwise if it is less than 0, then it should not apply the log function. And here also we should keep here as a train color m label skewness, and here also we can do train. Okay, now if I'm going to execute this code, yes, you can see initially this is highly skewed. Now my skewness got reduced, my skewness bit reduced, right? Something, some in some extent we reduce our skewness. Okay, so like this you can do. I did with the log transformation. You can use any kind of transformation like get transformation, t transformation, whatever will work, right? Okay, so count plot we already done. Hope you understood the concept of EDA, right? This video, with this video, this much only. I guess this video is very huge. So I'm requesting to all, please try how many times you can do, because it is the something, this is the something which is going to help you a lot, right? Now, similarly, embark column, we did not did anything with the embark column, right? So you can do with the embarked also. Okay, here is missed there, train. And here also we can check this. Yes, you can see embark is the categorical column. So SCQ having the values, means S having 634, C having 160, and Q having this one. Okay, so yes, and if you want to plot this embark wala with the survive, means how many S got survive, how many C got survive, how many Q got survive, that also we can use this. Okay, yeah, so you can see S survivance is more than 0.3, C survivance is more than 0.5. Like this we can plot, right? So for this video, this much only. Thanks for watching this. Hope you enjoyed. If you feel something I missed, then please do over the comment section. In the next video, we are we are going to see some of the machine learning algorithm on the top of this EDA techniques, and we will see one more thing, how to submit your competition on a Kaggle. Okay, so this is the next level agenda. Once you will get a confidence on this EDA techniques, that then it will make sense, right? Thank you for watching this. Thanks.